You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to be discussing the all-rookie teams and the Chicago Bull player that got left off because of Billy Donovan. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to give our season grade for Patrick Williams and ask if the Bulls can make it 3 for 3 with Chicago having the number 1 overall pick. We're going to get to all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, all rookie teams came out, man. We're going to break down the list and talk about a Bull that got locked out of voting, which I'm not surprised by. Most Bulls fans shouldn't. I'm honestly surprised at seeing some of the outrage. I was like, what did you guys think? Do you think we're giving votes here because of hope? But let's talk about
bro.
Let's talk about the first team. Paolo Banchero, Walker Kessler, Benedict Mathurin, Keegan Murray, and Jalen Williams from OKC Thunder. How do you feel about the first team, Pat?
Jalen Williams may be a little bit of a surprise, but outside of that, list is rock solid to me. I mean, listen, Paolo was a monster all season. He was amazing. Y'all know I rocked with Ben Mathurin heavy. Once I saw his tape and what he was able to do out in Indiana. And then me and Haize both wanted Walker Kessler, still want Walker Kessler, still upset we didn't get Walker Kessler. If we weren't going to play Dalen Terry, you might as well have got Walker Kessler.
Did not
get Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
Walker Kessler was exactly what he was advertised as.
And I'm gonna throw a little shot at some of our. It's all friendly because we're all friends here. Please don't start no drama. But shout out to Will the Goat Gottlieb over on CHG. I remember when we were saying, oh, well, Bulls need shot blocking. The Bulls need some rebounding. Walker Kessler would be the perfect pick there. He was like, no, the Bulls should trade for Rudy Gobert instead. And, it doesn't make any sense to want a rookie to come in. He's not going to be able to do that his first year. Walker Kessler came in and was everything he was advertised to be in his rookie season. I would go so far as to say, had the Bulls drafted Walker Kessler, and if Billy Donovan had played him, we would have seen such a difference with this team as far as just the defense, as far as the shot blocking, as far as a lot of the things that we needed. And he started scoring towards the second half of the season as well. Walker Kessler's a heck of a pick. The Utah Jazz got a stud there, man.
I think Walker would have made Vooch expendable. He completely replaces Vooch.
Yes.
Right? Not as good of a shooter as Vooch, not as good of a not really anything mid-range at all, really. He's kind of like, I got this float and I'm at the bucket. But he's a guy that is a rim runner. I told y'all coming into the season that I thought he was very much like Jaren Jackson when it came to the defense and ability to run the floor. He's eventually going to be able to add a more of a three to his game, more of a jump shot to his game. But I thought that he was a phenomenal player on there. Jalen Williams surprised me a little bit, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you he shouldn't have been on the list. But outside of that, I thought it was a rock solid first team.
Yeah, I really think that's one of the it's really no question marks there for him. I know Jalen Williams is a bit, but I if he would have been on the second team instead of first team, I would have asked no questions. It is a little bit, I think somebody could have been ahead of him, but overall, I really do like that first team. Let's talk about the second team some. Jalen Duren, Tari Eason, Jaden Ivey, Jabari Smith, and Jeremy Sohan. There are 3 players on the second team that we were high on as well in this draft class.
Hey, we good at draft evaluation, AK.
Yeah, we're pretty good at draft evaluation. But how you feel about the second team?
We also had no opportunity to get most of those players. So, Walker Kessler's the only one that we really could have gotten.
Tari Eason too, right?
We could have. No, Tari went ahead, right? Didn't Tari go before Dalen?
He won a couple spots.
I thought he went the pick right before Dalen.
Yeah.
I like Tari Eason would have been the one to me that I'd have put above him. But again, winning does matter. I like Tari Eason's game though. I like kind of how he's able to, again, a rim runner, able to run the floor, able to play above the bucket like a monster as well. I don't hear anybody on there that I'm like, there's no way that you should be on this list. I feel good about how they graded both of the first team and second teams on that one.
A lot of big men on that list.
A lot of big men on that list, but they're not doing it by position anymore. And I think realistically, right, like it tells you, I'll say this, when I looked at the first teams, right, first and second teams for all rookie, I said I can see where the NBA is going. They're trying to go back to the big man. They're trying to go back to the bigger players, the bigger centers. At least, and not to say, right, like the guys that are just like, I'm just down here to be big, but guys that are versatile, but with more size. You want to see more of that. And especially with the versatility that they're adding, right? Walker Kessler can be your 5. Tari Eason can be your 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's the modern
NBA that we're in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you could have a lot of guys on this team where, if you really want to start a lot of, you can have Paolo, Walker, and Tari Eason in your front court. And I don't think any one of how tall is Eason? Eason is 6'8".
Isn't Eason like 6'10"?
Is he 6'10" as well?
I think so.
Like that's not even a slow front court. That's not a front court that's like 6'8", right? Yeah. That's not a front court that's gonna slow you down. Like you can rim run with that front court. That's the modern NBA, and I like to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it does definitely point towards the direction that the NBA is going. And so, yeah, overall, like both teams of the rookie class. Now, a bull was left off that list, and that is Dalen Terry.
Oh my God, how?
Bro, those G League stats, like, you don't count G League stats in for your all rookie team voting?
No Carla Jones?
You don't
Are you telling me Carla couldn't make the list?
Dancing on the sideline? We don't count that. What are we doing here?
Oh God, dog.
Nah, but I saw the headlines. I'm like, y'all just really would make a headline out of anything. There's
not much to talk about.
Dalen Terry left off. He shut out on the rookie voting. What did you expect? Like, I don't understand why is that even a headline? Are we really shocked by that as a fan base? Let me know down below if you're on the YouTube side. Were you shocked that Dalen Terry didn't receive any rookie place votes on either team? Like, you could have got to the 5th rookie team. He still wouldn't have got any votes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like if I'm not mistaken, I believe Dalen Terry played the least amount of minutes that anybody selected 18th overall has ever played in NBA history.
Yep.
If you weren't gonna play him, would you take him for? You could have traded the pick.
No, I disagree with that. Only because I do think that unlike Marco, they did have a development plan for Derry. Watching him play in the G League, I see where they wanted him to work on specific teams each and every game, and I see how they had everything go through him in the games that he did play. He wouldn't have got that opportunity at the NBA level. So I'm giving them the credit right now of saying, hey, this maybe was part of his day because he was super raw. The shot got a little bit better. It's gotten a little bit quicker. He still needs to do some work on it. But I think that I saw enough of him, of the things that he worked on his game to where I can understand it. Now, I will say this. If he's not in your planned rotation to start next season, I take all of it back. All of it's getting thrown away.
Well, I think here's the thing, though, right? You saw a guy in Dalen Terry come out and give you production in place of that Javonte Green when we literally had nothing left. And you're like, okay, well, let's go into the next game, see what we get. Gives you production again, a little bit less, right? Not the same level, but still giving you good production on both ends, being very active. Then he didn't see the court again for the rest of the season, basically, except in garbage time. And yet we were okay with Io running around out there giving us negative production. You know what I mean? Like, it got to a point where it was just like, hey, like, at least put somebody out there that's gonna try to produce or try to give you the energy. We said both times. I think there were like 2 stints where Dalen Terry got in the game, and we said both times, wow, his energy really invigorated the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, for sure.
And then we went out and got Pat Bev, and it was like, you just went and got old Dalen Terry. Like,
hold on.
He's a little bit shorter. He's a little bit shorter.
Hold on there, brother. You be wilding with the comparisons. Like, let's hope that Dalen Terry ends up a lot more than Pat Bev.
From an energy standpoint, I hope he's better, but at least Dalen was giving you something. At least Dalen was giving you something. Like, it was so weird to me.
But Pat Bev brought the energy and leadership. Nobody's listening to Dalen.
That's facts. No, I get you that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's. I really do hope if they Marco him and he's in the G League to start next season again, Oh, we about to riot, bro. Because then at that point,
Well,
what are you doing with these picks, AK?
here's the question that you really have to ask yourself, right? Is he your prototypical point guard that you want?
No, he's not a point guard. We got to start with that. Dalen Terry's long-term position in the NBA is not going to be point guard.
He was a facilitator in college.
Just because you're a facilitator doesn't make you a point guard in the modern NBA.
Listen, I mean, it's a lot of dudes out there that can pass the ball and get stuff set up. That's all we had. That's all we asked Pat Bev to do.
I understand that, but
bring the ball up and get stuff set up.
Bev's also 6'1" or whatever, however tall he is.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? But that's the kind of player that you want at your point guard position. You want that's what the Bulls want. They want the 6'8" guy that's going to be quick off of the to pass the ball, good on the defensive end, can guard 1 through 4, right? Like that's the prototypical guy that they're looking for.
I wouldn't say that. They got Pat Bev. I don't necessarily think that's what they're looking for.
I think Pat Bev was the best of a bad situation at that point, right? Like, I mean, even if you think about it, right? Like, Io's a point guard. He's a 2 guard, but he's a combo guard. Yeah. But he in that style, right? He comes in, he plays point. He's what, 6'6", 6'5"?
6'5". But I think with Dalen Terry, you've even heard AK already say he would like to see Dalen Terry play some small ball 5. He's not going to be a point guard.
I mean, listen, everybody's playing small ball 5 on this team, my boy. Who's the player on this team not playing small ball 5, my boy?
Zach, because he get murdered, his knee would collapse on him.
Zach? What you mean, Zach?
Zach's never played small ball.
Come on, dog.
Never. Come on, bro.
Zach had Jakob Poeltl in the post, bro. What you talking about?
He got switched on him because the Raptors were smart. They're like, hey, we're going to attack you there, brother. Hey, man. But, man, before we go, we got to get into the next topic.
Before dang, 10 minutes. We out. Let's do it.
Out already. We wilding. Before we talk about and give P. Will his grade, we're going to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly where you expect to be when you arrive. Buy the tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, Pat. We got to grade Patrick Williams, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This is one that I really was like, can we skip it? Can we just skip this? We've been fairly positive on the grade so far. We're getting into the place now where the positivity is about to go in a really weird direction. Go ahead, Pat. Take it away. Your grade for Patrick Williams' 2022-23 season.
I will give P. Will a solid C based on one thing. Patrick Williams was our best 3-point shooter throughout the season. At the end of the season, more so than anything. Yeah. I do think he improved his 3-point shot. I think his 3-point shot gained a lot more speed. I think he gained a lot more confidence with it. I think he started to use that 3-point shot to open up things in the middle of the floor for him. I think that his game did develop throughout the season. But when you look at the totality of the season, the first half of the season, I've given him, I mean, like, here's my biggest issue. I mean, you're talking about a D, maybe a D minus. And here's the reason why. We kept hearing all season, you got to run stuff for him. You got to give him stuff. You got to allow him to shoot the ball. You got to allow him to listen. He got to make an impact in some way. We talked about Patrick Williams being one of the best young defenders in the NBA that first year in the NBA, right? Second year ends up getting hurt. Third year, we were expecting to at least see the defense. We weren't seeing any of the offense, so I might as well see the defense, right? I didn't see P. Will make an impact really on the defensive end, maybe a couple of games here and there, but there wasn't a ton of games where I was like, P. Will really did a good job on that defensive end of just keeping things under wrap. But there were times where he got the offensive side going, got himself involved defensively, and everything came together. Again, the name of the game for P. Will is consistency. The only thing that he was consistent with this season was that 3-point shot that did improve, that was really good. And I think that that's going to be a key asset for him moving forward. especially with how his game is going to end up being played. But I mean, most of the season was pretty bad. I think the second half of the season he redeemed himself a little bit, but most of the season to me was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, they came out with all the stats towards the end saying, what was that defensive stat that came out about him towards the end of the season? Something about, the person he's guarding scores like 1.5 points less on possession or something like that. And listen, we've seen what the effect.
He misses one free throw. That's what that means. You know what I mean?
We've seen the effect that Patrick Williams has on the defensive end when he's locked in. Yeah. We've seen the effect he can have on the offensive side of the ball when he's being aggressive, when he's attacking the rim, when he's trying to dunk. That 3-point shot, like you said, is already legit. He averaged more points per game this season on the same amount of shots, basically, that he's always gotten for the most part. Shot the best 3-point percentage of his career on doubling. He doubled his 3-point attempts per game than what it was early in his career. That you have to give marks for that and positively, but we did not see it consistently enough from Patrick Williams, and that's really the thing. I think a solid C is a good grade for him. That's a nice solid grade. I'm going to give it a C minus though, just because I feel like I would almost rather not see the flashes than see the flashes and realize that they're only flashes because you just are so fine being passive P sometimes. We can't have that. We can't have that. And so, listen, Patrick Williams has all the talent in the world. He has all the potential in the world. But one thing that I've always said since I started doing this creative thing with sports, potential's not always realized. It's just not. And at some point, the potential is only going to get you so far into these conversations, P. Will. Now, we know that AK is, and the Bulls are, they're going to keep going for his development. They're not going to give up on him anytime soon, and they shouldn't. Let me be clear here. But at some point that we have to, the thing that I said is that we have to, he's always going to be part of the plan, but the percentage of the plan that he's a part of has to get less and less if he's not going to show you something, meaning that you have to look at something. You have to bring in a starting level power forward, even if it's a 1-year rental, and hope that it's going to motivate. I don't know what to do when it comes to Patrick Williams anymore because I really feel like the biggest issues is between his ears. It's in his head. And that is the biggest concern. If it was like a shot release thing, if it was just too slow for him to get it off and that was affecting him scoring, but he was taking more, that's something that you can work. The one thing that you can't really work into a player is their own. You cannot save somebody from what goes on inside their own head. He has to wake up and realize what he needs to do to be able to impact this Chicago Bulls team as we're trying. Like a Patrick Williams that makes a leap in a season completely changes the Bulls' outlook. Completely changes the Bulls' outlook.
Yeah.
But we can't keep waiting on that is the thing. And I love P. Will, but we can't keep waiting on it if he's just not going to at least start being aggressive for this team.
And I think some players just don't want it, right? Like I'm not comparing numbers in any way, right? But when you look at Andrew Wiggins in Minnesota, the mindset was very similar. He didn't want to be the number one guy. He was very willing to let Cat be the number one guy, even though Andrew Wiggins is the more talented player. He was very willing to let Jimmy Butler be the number one guy, even though Andrew Wiggins is the more talented player. Andrew Wiggins goes over to Golden State. Guess what? Andrew Wiggins looks like a world beater. Why? He doesn't have to be the number one guy. He don't have to be the number two guy. He don't have to be the number three guy. He can be number 4. Sometimes he ain't got to be number 4. Jordan Poole's cooking. I can be number 5. That sometimes that's just the kind of player that it is. I don't know if P. Will is that. I don't think that P. Will is going to end up being that. I mean, heck, I wouldn't mind if he ended up being that if we had 4 other guys that were ahead of him and he was still able to give you 22 points a game. But I just think that to me, right, like the one thing that I don't even care. I said this a couple times to see. I don't even care about the scoring that much. He scored 10 points a game. Okay. Yeah. My issue is that I can watch Dalen Terry step on the court, make an impact, and I can see the impact. I can watch Javonte Green step on the court, make an impact, and I can see the impact. I can watch Derrick Jones Jr. step on the court and make an impact, and I can see the impact. I watched P. Will play almost every game this season. What did he miss? 1 game, 2 games, or something like that?
P. Will missed no games this season.
He played all 82, right? Yeah, he played all 82. Okay. How many games did he impact? Like, I can't even think
Probably
of
10. I'll say 10.
First off, still not good. But I'm trying to even think of a specific game where I was like, P. Will is the reason we won this game. I mean, of course, the Dallas
had that one game where he had 10 points in the fourth quarter where it absolutely helped push us to a win.
Who was that against? I kind of remember that.
I can't remember what team that was against off the top of my head.
No, I'm just playing. But no, I think that's the thing, right? Like I can talk about a game where DJJ game saving block, very important, and he's coming in just in the second half. Like it shouldn't be that. That's the part to me where it's like you've gotten nothing but opportunity to impact. It may not be an offensive impact. It's probably not going to be an offensive impact on this team right now, but there's been plenty of opportunity for you to impact the game in a way that I feel like you haven't lived up to if that's all you have to put on tape right now.
I mean, that's factual. I mean, when it comes to P. Will, like he just has to figure out what he's going to do every game to impact it. Whether that's defense, whether that's rebounding, whether that's a couple of putback dunks, like whatever it is. Like P. Will I said it before, we need to get him in with the sports therapist, and they need to do something, bro. They need to unlock something in him. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see, man.
All right, we'll see what it is.
21 years old too. You got to keep throwing that.
A lot of time to go. And listen, I mean, I'm sure people would have said the same thing about Kawhi. Kawhi, what was Kawhi taking? Was Kawhi like he was a lottery pick, but I don't think it was as high.
I don't remember off the top.
I don't remember where Kawhi was taken off the top of my head, but a lot of the same things were said 15. About Kawhi, and not to say right. So he's just outside, and not to say that P. Will is going to end up being Kawhi. I'm not saying that at all, but like when you saw it start to click, you saw Kawhi buy into what he did well, right? When Kawhi's name got on the map, it was defensively. And then finally somebody was like, hey, let him take some shots, see what he can do. Oh, he makes them. All right, cool. Right. Like, I think that's the part where it's like, all right, let's get to that part. Let's get to the part where you lock in on one thing. You're really, and listen, maybe he did. Maybe that's the 3-point shot. Maybe it's not on the defensive
but
end.
The difference with Kawhi is he also had a coach that literally described building Kawhi as Legos. Like they added something to his game every single season. First season in the NBA, 6 shots per game. Second season in the NBA, 9 shots per game. Third season, 9.8. Fourth season, 12.8. And that's when he really started to hit his stride. But like they ran things for Kawhi to kind of build that confidence, and they added things to his game. Like I said before, one of my biggest things is Billy Donovan's. It's not all on Billy Donovan and the coaching staff to develop a player. A lot of that is mindset as well. They have to want it, but like I don't know, man. It's a lot going on with Patrick Williams and where he is right now.
Hey, man. Let's hope next season he starts moving in the right direction. I mean, technically he moved in the right direction.
He moved in the right direction.
He moved in the right direction. That's how we'll finish that off. Hey, man, appreciate you guys for showing love as always, man. We do have to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors on this show, Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting Locked On Bulls, man. How does it work? You can pick 2 to 6 players, and if they score more or less than their Prize Picks projections, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. Just you versus the predictions available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch. That includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL. Shout out to the Blackhawks getting the number 1 overall pick. PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, so many sports, man. MMA, boxing. Did y'all see that MMA match the other day? Or was that not MMA? Well, it is MMA. I was going to say not MMA, UFC. But yeah, y'all saw it. Yeah, crazy out here. It just can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy, safe, and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. I need you guys to go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up for daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100.
All right, before we go, officially now, because I said it earlier, we weren't going anywhere anytime soon. But with that, the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks, won the lottery. They have the number 1 pick in the NHL draft. Now, the Bears also had the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Now, they didn't end up trading it, got a nice package back for it. Can the Bulls make it 3 for 3 with Chicago teams? I don't know if that has that ever happened in sports where a city has gotten the number 1 pick in the 3 major sports. We have to check on that one. But that's crazy. That's wild.
I'll tell you this right now. If it does happen, it's rigged. And I don't care.
Stop saying it, bro, because then they may not do it. You got to stop saying. You actually work for ESPN now.
First off,
you got to stop saying.
We've watched Scott Foster in the NBA night after night, and y'all worried about me saying it's rigged?
Yes, we worried about you.
Scott Foster is like 17-1 versus Chris Paul.
This is
and
true.
It's all because the NBA was like, let him win.
That's hilarious, man. Listen, here's what I'll say. I mean, you were talking about this a little bit off air, right? If the Bulls get the number 1 overall pick, not that it changes how sucky the season was, not that it changes the issues that we have, but like that would really, like, I wouldn't say completely change the tone, but you'll see a lot of Bulls fans be like, we got the number 1 overall pick. We're going to be back on the path. Championship number 7 is coming in 2 years. You know that they're going to, from doom and gloom to championship real quick in Chicago.
Here's what scared the mess out of all the Bulls fans, though, because this pick is top 4 protected.
Yeah.
What if we get the number 4 overall pick?
Listen, I don't care. If the Bulls hold on to their pick, if they walk away with a draft,
last number 4 overall pick,
it's Patrick Williams.
We just gave a C-.
Yeah. That's fine.
That's the fear. Listen, it's like 7s all over again.
It's
we
fine.
was like, they gonna F up another 7. But they gotta mess up another 7.
Here's the thing. There are so many players in this draft in the top 4 or 5 area that has long wingspans that AK is just gonna go crazy over that still have some dog in them. So I'm not too worried about it this time, right? They're more known commodities this time.
Here's the tough part, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get a top 4 overall pick, what's the direction you have to then go? Because to me, it's time to buy into your young guys. You got Kobe White, you got Io, let Zach LaVine be your older guy. I'm not saying get rid of all the vets, right? DJJ guys like that, older. They're like 26. But they really are. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. But right, like you can't come into another season where you're talking about, I don't know, maybe we get Scoot Henderson, whoever it is, right? Or if we get the number 1 overall, we get Victor Wembanyama. You can't talk about anybody being in the way of Victor Wembanyama. You can't talk about somebody taking shots away from Victor Wembanyama because he's the number 1 overall pick. You have to let him be the number 1 overall pick and play. We can't have the Patrick Williams conversation of like, they're not giving him the shots to do this.
Listen, I've said it before. Me and you've disagreed on this. Because I see AK and just how he is developing, I say if we get the number 1 overall pick and draft Victor Wembanyama, I think that the chances of us keeping Vooch go up because I think AK is going to want a year of a buffer to just have there just in case. Not to say that Wembanyama may not start, but I'm just saying that it's going to be a buffer there. I just guarantee it with AK.
I mean, at that point, just keep drumming.
Well, see, that's out of our control. Really, Drummond may be on his way out. Drummond may have said, listen, hey, y'all crazy here in Chicago. I'm up out of here.
Hey, Victor Wembanyama show up. Yeah, I mean, like, he might be like, hey, I'll back this guy up.
I mean, hey, crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what direction the Bulls have to go in that sense, right? Because then clearly now your timeline is Victor. And realistically now, if your timeline becomes whatever Victor can do because he is your number 1 overall pick, you've got a number 4 overall pick on the roster in Patrick Williams. You got a number 7 overall pick on the roster in Kobe White. All guys who in the second half of the season played a lot better, right? To me, in that sense, you might be having a conversation about, now I don't know if Billy Donovan's going to stick around for that part, but you might be having a conversation about, hey, we're going to move most of these vets because the young guys are where we're putting our faith in this team. Well,
they need to do that anyway. But I mean, I agree.
I agree, but like, there's so much question on what Patrick Williams will be if we take away DeMar DeRozan, if we take away Vooch, right? Like, what's Marko Simonovic, if that's the guy that you want as your young big, gonna be, right?
Wait, did Marko Simone? Bro, come on.
He got another year. He's here. He's here. He's not going
guaranteed.
anywhere.
They can absolutely get about that contract this year, bro. Come on. We really talking about Marko Simonovic is what we talking about here, bro.
We traded Marko for a sack of wet potatoes and a peeler that's half broken.
Bro, I would trade Marko right now.
I just don't get why you said it like that. Like, you could have said dipped. You could have said dipped.
I know.
Like, dipped is like literally the term that we use. Extra wet is crazy out here, dog.
Get that wet, bro. Christ. You know what it is. Come on, man.
Show's over. We follow us on everything at Locked Up Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. I'll stay safe out there, Chicago. I don't know what's going on.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Bulls and making us your first listen every day. Make sure you guys are tuned in tomorrow as well as we continue our player evaluations as we go through the whole Chicago Bulls roster. But that is it for us for today. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls. We out this mug. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Said Italian beef extra wet. Jesus. That sound like a search term on never mind. Sound like that when it dangles a little bit.